I said I'm working. Tell me if you know somebody who's a Kasi champ. I said I'm working. Tell me if you know somebody who's a Kasi champ. I said I'm working.
Good day and welcome to yet another exciting episode of Kasi Champs. My name is Valencia Hadebe, and today I am joined by Alpha Hadebe, popularly known as the Alpha male. He is a political activist, he's an actor, he's an entrepreneur. He's going to remind me because I'm going to be engaging in a conversation with him at this time, right about now. How are you doing?
I'm alright, Wena.
I'm good. Welcome to the show.
No, thank you for having me, man.
Yes, you finally here.
Finally. We're busy, but we always try and make time so that let's
exactly. Let's not complain.
Yeah, because we'll end up having shows in our absentia and say, yeah, we called them, they didn't come, so we must come.
We released an article, Alpha did not want to come.
Yeah, and then, the general preconceived perception on the ground, like, yeah, we knew.
Yeah.
So I was here.
Yeah.
Thank you for having us.
Mm-hmm. And who is Alpha Hadebe? Because people know you as that gangster guy who was playing on Playback Time. People know you as the guy with the hit song IPalamende. Who is Alpha outside of that?
Alpha Hadebe is a guy that comes from a family of 4.
Yeah.
I was bred and battered in Jozi. So yeah, back in the 80s. So my mom yeah. So I wanna all those places. And then my dad is from KZN, Escort Mjezi. So but they're legally married, hence he sent me to Alpha Hadebe. We started staying because of papa banyala bomma no and then we came here early in the 86 87 stuff like that. And then to Kwaga when we were growing up, Kwaga Fontaine. That's where we started school. In a place called Kwaga Fontaine C. Because we're still young, if the memory serves me correct. And then and then my grandmother from my father's side, because she was now elderly, now we have to now move again from Kwaga Fontaine back to Kyalami, which where originally my dad was residing. After Obabake Ebezela, it was from KZN. Then we grew up from there and then started school go Filena while it was still in Knopislachte before they brought Tiemokasi under the principal Pew. And then it went on and on and on and on, and then I got expelled because
always been a troublemaker.
Not a troublemaker. I'm a curious cat, So I always like to ask questions. I'm very curious cat. I'm very, very, very curious. And if I don't find satisfaction, I then continue to inquire even furthermore. But some of the elements of that led to my expulsion. I think that was in standard 6 when they introduced the no more cane, no more pain thing. And then we started to get all excited, forgetting the basic rule, of discipline and how we must conduct ourselves as Banabawanyan. But over and above, Alpha Outsasikasi, I'm a linguist of note. I like engaging in languages. Now again, I will CV one now.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Uno shota fella was China, China. We'll learn as we grow. Yeah. I've a mission, or at least by the age of 50, I should be at least speaking 15 languages fluently. So I'm sitting on 11 now. So I'm sitting on 12 now, including Iskalanga Sasezim. So we're getting there. So I'm doing
So you know how to speak 11 official languages?
Yeah.
Which one is the 12th?
It's Kala Sasezim.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Skala Sasezim. It's Cha Overville. But now I want Snyasa, Chichewa, and them. So those are the African, because I consider myself an African. So the fact that we are situated on the southern part of the African continent does not exclude us from the overall picture of Africanism. So that is why I always view it doesn't matter. So it's one of those things, yeah. But over and above Alpha, I'll just say, I like experiencing izinto mina productive. I'm a self-driven individual, and once I put my mind into something, I definitely make sure that is the focus, and that's where we're going. Exclusive, irrespective of the challenges that we may encounter along the road, but it really does not dictate this is where the journey ends in terms of the mission that you want to achieve. So I just go, and I fell too many times and I rose too many times. So it's a rise and fall kind of a situation that keeps on going.
Yeah, and when did you when was your love found for acting and music?
From Eskela, I remember I used to have Abomanda, Nabo Ma7. One day he's Papa Action, the first one before Nkosi Dlamini. I keep forgetting his name. Which generation? When we started getting that real raw television production of real Kasi life, which we were accustomed to, but from a distance point of view, you understand. But when they started bringing those things on screen, some of us started, exploiting our passion. Started realizing, because I did drama Eskela, so and I was always a person who wanted to be there. I don't want to be behind the camera. I want to be there so that my views can be expressed accordingly.
I hear you.
Yeah, because I'm not a technical person. I just want to be,
Okay, and from that side of art, what inspired you to get into politics?
Generally, whether you are in politics, you do believe that politics have an impact that it plays in society or not.
Yeah.
Your conclusion in that respect is really neither here nor there. Why? Because of politics will ultimately affect you, whether you like it or not. For example, if the prices of these things are going up right now, people that are claiming that they're not going to vote and for whatever reasons, they are directly affected by the load shedding. And who are they complaining to? Can I remember? You have spheres of governance. You have the executive, legislature, and we have the local government and the judiciary, which is an extended arm. But these are politics. Because right now we are under the law, or we are subjected to the policies of the ruling party, which took over from the previous regime. So ultimately the politics will have an impact in your life. And if you're not going to vote, this is what's going to happen. We're going to make decisions on your behalf, and you're going to be subjected to them.
And why did you choose the political party EFF, to be specific?
Well, I didn't start in the EFF, to be quite frank. ANC, like many of us, ANC. And then as you grow and you get to a point whereby now you start to practically engage. I get the was full on the ground with the ANC issues, putting up posters and doing. And I'm like, but what's that? And then it clicked back with the time '90s. There was all this excitement, and then you see people going up and down. You wonder what's happening. And there was an expectation of freedom that which we did not know about because we were at the time. But you could see the level of excitement that the political playground has on the general public at large. And then growing up in that, I was subjected to the ANC because of Kamo High and stuff like that. But growing up and seeing izinto the ways and then I joined the EFF about 4 or 5 years ago. And the reason for that was that the political activism of EFF is practical. The policies of the ANC in black and white, splendid. I can read them for you now. You'll join the ANC now.
Yeah.
But when it comes to the implementation part of it, is a different ball game altogether. That's what the problem is, because of when we as activists are not activated practically, it becomes a problem.
Yeah, it is.
It becomes a real problem. And then when the EFF started introducing the ideas of land being returned back to the rightful owners, and then we started questioning, we're schooling, so we don't want to be cheated by some intellectuals. So we then started engaging, and to be quite frank with you, I was always worried about the EFF. I see problem.
Yeah.
Hunting, no. When they say truth is a bitter pill to swallow. It really indeed is, because of now, remember, when you want to take the land, you want to now make the white that are in control, which are a minority, uncomfortable. And white people don't want to be uncomfortable. They like their comfort zones. So now that idea sparked this political consciousness and awareness to say that, oh, Ghana without the land, Ghana can have all the dreams in the world, can have all the millions in the world, but if you don't have the land, you can't lease an airstrip, you can't lease a ground to make a restaurant on the air. It must be here on the ground. So, but the question is, who is the rightful owner of this particular land where all these means of production must then take place?
Yeah. That's
when I said no, but the EFF is the political party that actually, is understanding what the poorest of the poor is up against. The ANC is actually a former liberation movement.
Okay.
A former liberation movement. They have gradually deviated from the leftist to the right-wing formations.
Okay.
Because if you look at all these issues that are happening and from the ground up, man, and you cascade it down and vice versa, you will see there is a whole management process that is happening here. Yeah. And now the EFF is challenging that. And I like robust debates, can either be right or wrong, but make me understand how I'm wrong, and then we can have a fruitful discussion. But the EFF, I can tell you now, in terms of the implementation of some of the things that black people want in particular, you will see that we are literally hands-on. There's a company of a white guy in Centurion there. I don't need a group of people. I go there by myself. I'm not breaking the law. I'm going to get in there and inquire. These people came to us. This is a problem. What seems to be happening? He tells us his side of the story. If we establish that no, there's a great deal of discrepancies here, we say let's have a discussion, my man. A polite and a fruitful discussion on how we can resolve this matter. And then people see us being practical like that. And then that's where the idea of the EFF and the love of the people for the EFF comes into play.
Yeah, and on your song, IPalamende, right? You're speaking about, I don't know, the 7
cardinal pillars.
Yes, the 7 pillars, and you were just saying the pillars on the video. And today I want you to educate us on those pillars and what role do those pillars play into the implementation of EFF.
Right. The 7 cardinal pillars, starting with the one of the land, which is the one that actually keep everybody on their tippy toes, is that the land must be given back to us. We don't want to become permanent tenants in our own society.
True.
And this narrative that every time the EFF speaks about the land, no, we're entrepreneurs in our own right. We're business people in our own right. And we don't have the labor mentality to say that I want to go and submit my CV at a specific company, become employed. When the company has financial issues, now must be on the list of the people that are going to be retrenched. And then I'm back to square one.
Yeah.
I decided that I want to be on the list of the people that are going to determine their own paycheck. When it comes to the land issue, the EFF is very practical, and that's going back a notch in terms of where we're coming with this white supremacy tendencies and the privilege, is that white people don't want to give back the land or share the land because of the same reason that once you have the land, you are independent.
Yeah, true.
You become so independent that people will come to you and say, but when I have a proper space, man, we want to do an airstrip here, and I want to get plot, whatever the amount of hectares you might have. And they say, no, okay, it's fine. Over 100 years, this is what you'll be subjected to in the form of a lease agreement, and then we have it like that. It economically liberates you as the landowner. You understand? So now we are sharing the means of production economically. But if now we must become, we are participating in the economy from the consumerist point of view. We're consumers.
True. That's true.
We're consumers. So we need to be producers. We need to be producers, especially because right now, we are here. Sardines. This is like a military camp. You might get excited to Rakinako 140, 30 and all those other things. But you can't even start your own garden because of 1400 you can space out park and then you are finished.
Exactly.
But now we've been to Ventersdorp with the comrade the other day. There was a guy who was cheated in Ventersdorp with the peer councillor Godwin Ratikwan. The size of the land of that guy, it takes Oliven, Diepsloot, Cosmo City and parts of Randburg. One guy. That's when you get to realize how privileged, this is how privileged these people are. So now when you want to tap into that space, what do you think is going to happen? They're going to retaliate. Because they took it for free.
Yeah, fair.
Now we are saying, let's share it. They say, no, it's not going to happen. That's where the problem starts.
Yeah.
But the EFF in its standing firm in terms of its policies, we are saying once the EFF is in power. The leadership at the echelons will then know what to do because of those policies are formulated by them on the basis of doing their own analysis to say how do we practically get to this point of nationalizations of mines and what are the possible benefits to the entire society should this policy be implemented in due course. And mind you, in the EFF we are full of thinking tanks. There's too much school there.
Yeah.
So it's we're not speaking from the position of no, it's on the basis of, and then she can attest. No, it's on the basis of proper research that's done and the feasibility of the entire policy implementation should it get to that point. But that can only be implemented practically on a legal point of view when the EFF gets into power, which is going to happen, by the way.
And when you touch on the issue of land, we as Oliven residents, we have that problem, land, because there's this land on the other side, and I saw on social media you said that it's Chris Honey Informal Settlement, and I know that people say it's Coin Estate something. So, and there's a lot of issue that's going on there because people now moved that side and they said we are moving here because we have been tenants for a very long time. We have been attending meetings for a very long time. And now we just want to reside here until a plan is made formally. So what is your take on that particular issue? Because it's been a long going on issue. There's been, red ends there, moving people. And people are now feeling like their rights are being violated because they have to be, sheltered.
That is why we are saying the EFF is a protest movement. Are revolutionaries in the EFF. Nothing that will cause discomfort to the opposition that will come easy. There's going to be casualties at all material times. And when we said that let's go and occupy, there were several meetings, even like media companies were there. And we've stated this within the policy ideas of the EFF. Nothing beyond that. Okay? And we knew very well that there's going to be challenges. And I can guarantee you now, it's not always a give and take situation.
Yeah.
You understand? Because you're going up against the state now. People that are saying, no, we want to keep. And we're the poorest of the poor and say, but no, give. You understand?
Yeah.
And it's all dependent now who's connected to who has enough financial muscle to make sure this thing becomes a reality. We understand. I'll give you a typical example. If the government decided tomorrow that EFF is situated, but Oliven is situated in a place where it's not supposed to be situated, and then people start revolting, but we know what they're going to do. They're going to unleash the army.
Yeah,
because they're in a position of power. They're going to unleash the army, and people will voluntarily leave here. But obviously, there will be those remarks afterwards about what happened here and all those kind of things. But we're saying we're not going to stop to expropriate the land without compensation for equal redistribution in use until the return of Christ, if there is such a thing that's going to happen in the long run. But with all due respect. So that is why political education is key, is important. People must understand where they come from in terms of the past regime to where we are now. And what has been sold to us as an idea of freedom now, moving henceforth. We have been sold here as something that is not realistically what we paid for. Free water, free electricity, basic education. If you go to clinic now, they demand money. When you say to me free, my mama never went to school. She raised us. She cut up. They cut thatch grass, they bulk it up, and then they sell it to these white people. For doing their lapas and all those things and what have you. That is how they are. That is how my dad was a builder. So they had that kind of a arrangement going. So if we're going to be sitting here and worried about some of the things that if we are going to implement this policy, these are the casualties that we are going to encounter, and then we must stop this thing. No. Our people need to be liberated politically to understand that there are going to be casualties. I'll give you typical examples. Look at what's happening in Extension 27. Now as we speak. A similar process took place. But because of the leadership that actually foresaw the complications, we applied legalities in the process. Bearing in mind that there's 106, there's 77. So at times, the two branches can have a joint program, but it does not necessarily mean because Alpha is taking part in that program, he's now running the program. No, there's a leadership of 106 that is actually overseeing everything. I come in there in a form of a support. The similar applies as a chairperson of the branch in 77. If I implement a project, it requires a joint, either from the sub-regional point of view or whichever method we want to apply. it will then be done like that. But on a broader scheme of things, let the social media connotations and all these other things, they're not going to be a disruption. We are going to expropriate, and they must get this through their heads, by the way, especially the young NC comrades. We are going to expropriate the land without compensation. And we're not asking for their permission, their approval, or their input on the matter. If they want to sort out issues, they must start going to the house. Executives, they have their properties that must be attached to whatever. Rona on the ground.
Yeah.
And we want to make sure that we see these things happening in our lifetime. When the policies of the EFF are saying, in our lifetime, it means that no. They will have their own mission to fight at the time on the basis that the foundation is already laid by those who came before us, which is us at this particular present juncture.
I hear you. And when it comes to service delivery, because I mean, with Oliver, man, there are a lot of things that, people are not happy about, people are dissatisfied about, and which may be the reason why people don't get to vote next year. Not because they can't, because they choose not to. So the issue of service delivery, which is an issue that you wanted us to touch base on, there are a lot of, service delivery issues. What is your take on that, and what do you think are some of the challenges?
The challenge here is a question of who's in charge. Who did we politically correctly elect to make sure that these issues are addressed? Now, once you have answered that question, then you would know where to direct your queries. Now, once you start directing your queries to that particular individual who's a councillor, a councillor is a people's person. You can if you don't want to be spoken about, then don't become a public figure. Stay there in your little house there by yourself and your family. Will greet you. It's not a problem. But once you start putting yourself at the center of the people's problems, every time people are going to come to you for a solution.
Yes.
So right now, people need to look at, okay, we have officially elected leaders. This is an ANC-led administration at this particular governance level, which is local. Now, you want to now say because of the coalition issues that are there, the councillor cannot now be held accountable. I said to one of the comrades of the ANC one day, we're having a general conversation. What would then happen if you're the councillor of the EFF here on the ground, and then you have that DA there, because of their decisions in those in those caucuses directly affect us on the ground. What was going to happen was that I was going to that white boy, Bergman, that guy, that brink, in a blink of an eye, will be there with the people of Oliver and say, Chief, here's the constituency standing outside. Because of Ronai's councillors, we report to you. You then need to tell us, now, what should we tell them? Or you come in and address them.
Exactly.
Because you are the man who's steering the economy of this particular metro. We understand. But now, if the man in charge at the ward level is keeping quiet, nowhere to be found, what do you expect to happen? If the children inside the house see that ntate a demo and again Friday, and what do you think is going to happen? It's going to be unruly.
True.
It's going to be unruly to a point where by now it starts to get outside and everybody start questioning it. And the more people don't get at least a response from someone with a proper thinking capacity to elaborate on issues of why this is happening and how best can we be able to bring about a life solution to this, you are setting yourself up for failure. The ANC is failing us more on the ground. Now, it's failing us. Some comrades have been demoted from being community leaders. They are wearing green overalls, so now into jumpsuits. They jump from leaders, they jump into jumpsuits. So there's no back and forth. It's a back and forth. Nobody understands really what is happening. And their own internal issues have a direct effect on us as a society at large.
True.
We understand. So people need to understand. People need to hold. I don't know. Maybe I need to also be educated. You need to hold the executive accountable. At the branch level, the executive is the council. How do you hold that person accountable? You must, as a community of people, say, Mugoniwe, we have a problem. I don't remember now the councillor saying Oliver holding a public meeting and addressing real life issues or calling a mayor and making sure that the mayor is coming to Oliver to address the issues of Oliver. He doesn't even know what the extension 20 and 2023 is looking like. He doesn't know. So once the people can understand, and if there's anyone to blame, why must we put your boards all over the show come the election time? And once you are in that particular office, the boards have been removed. It's now you and your little cocoons. And there's been allegations that the councillor is not even staying in his ward anymore. We were at the school Mabane addressing the issues of the SDFs and what Oliver. The student development fund, because parents have been made to pay monies and what.
Yes,
one of the teachers, one of the teachers, they made it clear to us without fear, and she said, we can't even remember when the councillor was here in this particular school. Sure. Yet he left a promise that he will grade OSS for ease of access for the teachers and other sponsors and donors that wants to come in and assist.
Yeah.
So that's when you get to see Hori, you are not led. This thing is on autopilot. It requires leadership.
Yeah, I hear you. And what do you think? What do you think EFF? What difference do you think EFF would make if next year they would be in charge, especially more Oliven?
We're going to be very practical about issues. We're going to be very practical. All the issues that I've just touched on now, we're practical as it is. I'm not practical. I'm not saying we're waiting for a certain moment of time. Have I got to block the drain? Just issue a call. We're not even asking for anyone's payment or anyone's money. We're going to take our cars. We're going to go there. And if sharps come to push, if I have a 200 rand and a pipe 180, I'm going to buy that pipe. And we're going to put it in there. So we're going to be very practical. But now at least we'll be driven by policies of governance. We're doing these things outside the policies of governance. Now, when you want to address the issues of robust engagement with the councillors, they tell you about, there's a fancy term they're using, Municipal Structures Act. Right, all of a Sunday, that now this is how things are done. You don't understand. No, we understand very well. Issue 23. We understand very well. Issue 19. We understand very well. There's a breach like 60 that deprives people from having access to school and work every rainy season. We fully understand. So you can't come as a leader and tell us due to Municipal Structures Act that we don't understand. We never introduced those things to us when we wanted to do some campaigns. Yeah, so in the EFF, we are not. If you look at what even our leaders are doing in that council there, they literally take it upon themselves to even shut the city down so the issues of the payments of the workers of Tswan can be addressed. We're not saying let's go and sit in a boardroom, we get out there, we shake hands and then it's business as usual. No. Let us be realistic about issues. And that's where the discomfort comes in. Because it's like these ones. Happy wamana moto hatoma a loser. We are all out. We are all out because we are high. And it's not necessarily because of opposition parties have a problem with you. It's because of we are not addressing the issues. I'll give you another typical example. Level 13, the Choba robots moving towards Oliven Spares. And look at when you enter R55 and look at when you enter Thatch Hill Estates and there. Okay? Tell me the difference. There's a massive difference.
There's a huge
They even have robots that have arrows or mukuni. Now we are going that direction. Yeah, we were going. Yeah, you go to Plaza. That's a complex. That's a local shopping center. People that are crossing that road on a daily basis. It's a lot. We should be having that kind of a robot. It's like go Thatchfield, going into Kuru. More Plaza as well. You understand? So to direct the traffic properly, but because of like jumper is not a problem. That's how undermined we've been. That's how much undermined we've been undermined by our own leaders. I'm saying our own leaders because they're the ones who are running the show at the branch level. Why can't they challenge those municipalities and say, comrades, on the ground?
True.
And if they're not responding, take the people on the ground and say, now, but I respond. And then you will see. That's how you lead people. You don't lead people by just coming here and having a few caucus meetings and a few EPWP members. That's where the problem starts. But I can guarantee you now that Rona and the EFF, the work that you've done, we can sit here and have a chat all day.
Yeah.
But go online and see the practical work that will be. There are even courts, petitions, regional office. When we're fighting the issues, companies are taking us to court. Does that mean we must stop? I'm not going to stop. I'm going to kick every door. Every time, like the CIC has always alluded, every time the racism raises its ugly head, we're going to confront it.
True.
That's how we're going to deal with this situation.
And on the issue of 2024 elections, you said that hashtag 2024 is our 1994. Elaborate more on that.
History is going to repeat itself. History is going to repeat itself. The same way the regime that oppressed our people pre-1994 is going to be the same thing that's going to happen when the EFF takes over in 2024. The same historic moment that people experienced when they experienced freedom in 1994, when the reins of democracy were handed over, because democracy only applied to them, the white people in the past. But now they were so uncomfortable. That is why no about here we're living when Mandela becomes, here we're living when Mbeki becomes the president, here we're living when Zuma is, here we're even when Maluma becomes the president, no one's going to leave. They are going to remain here. That's what's going to happen. It's a fear of the unknown. Why would you sometimes put So 2024 was saying it's going to be our 1994 because that's when history is going to repeat itself. Like Mandela and bullets, maybe these are the prophecies. He said if the ANC does to you what the apartheid regime did to you, do to the ANC what you did to the apartheid regime.
What was done?
What understand?
Yeah.
So the same Mandela prophecies are going to prevail come next year.
Yeah.
The ANC is not going to taste power. There's going to be an ambassador. The EFF is going to decide, no, we don't want Banula, we want this one. Leave the cadres of the ANC, we want this one. So there's going to be a view that is going to be implemented of the EFF in the next year, after next year's elections.
Sure. There's a question here from someone, and then the person says, in your opinion, what can individuals in our community do to actively participate in and support EFF's vision for economic freedom and social justice?
Quite an interesting question. It sounds like I'm from a learned individual. People just need to avail themselves and understand from a broader scheme of things what the policies of the EFF are about. Because I think when I look so no, we're just confronted by uneasy situations. So people must register to vote. That's how actively they can become participants of change. That is it's as simple as that. Vote so that you can become an active participant when it comes to change.
Yeah. And another one says, how does the EFF plan to collaborate with local businesses and entrepreneurs to stimulate economic growth?
Sure. Recently, there was a bash the leadership never organized a Motswan, the youth voter registration.
Okay.
So that to conscientize young people about the importance of voting. And the number that we saw there, it was quite exciting because of at the ground level up, when we were given instruction by the region to cascade it down to our branches, was that this is how things are going to unfold. You need to alert these young individuals stepping into adulthood that this is why we wanted them to participate in this process, because of they play a significant role in society, which tomorrow they are going to be in charge of. So they need to start being made aware now in terms of where this whole thing is going. And those with ambitions and interest, and then they must be given that opportunity to register to vote. And we've seen a great number of them registering to vote. EFF has hosted many events, man. From the upper structure, they had the gala dinners where entrepreneurs were coming in, exchanging ideas and views that were deposited which are going to be deposited. My apology, into the manifesto of the EFF.
Yeah.
So the collaboration of entrepreneurs and local business people. There is a website, the EFF, by the way, for further information in terms of how one can practice. Because once you start speaking entrepreneurialism, it means you're willing to do your own research, dig for more information. So I don't want to speak a lot on things that I have a limited knowledge on. But what I can say is that they can go to the EFF website. EFF website, and all that information will be made readily available to them. Or regional officer night it's open 24/7. My police listen 24/7. It's open on a daily basis. Obviously, no close like December, but the leadership is accessible.
Yeah, and wow. Another one says, what strategies does the EFF employ to foster unity and collaboration amongst diverse communities within South Africa?
Oh, geez. Yeah, because we've been considered to be, a
chaotic bunch.
Yeah. And let me just respond this by saying, if you look at who represents the CIC Julius Malema in court, I think that should answer the question, because of, I cannot say I'm anti-white and I take a white man to go and represent me in court. What do you think would happen if that person really has an agenda? That person will devise any mechanisms available to him to make sure I remain. inside Phakathi. So the preconceived perception is one that is also perpetuated by the opposition, that the EFF is anti this, the EFF is anti that. You know, we have policies that we stand firm on, but you know, racial segregation and tribalism is not one of the things that we are on. No, there are also minority groups within the EFF structures. If you look, I mean, our executive, you know, there are people that are of different, not black people like me and you, but colored individuals and communities. And Commissar Gadrish Gandhi, he's Indian. You know, and you check those people. So you want to come and tell us now that there are white people that have donated farmers to the EFF. There was videos that were trending a while back. If you guys, I don't know if you guys have noticed, 2 white guys. I can't pick up their names, but they actually, because of their land ID, and they've studied the founding manifesto of the EFF and what it stands for, and then they've realized, no, but this is how we can also, as white people, actively participate in this process of the land question. So the racial segregation issue and how that thing is automated, it's there, it's already there. It's already there. We're coexisting in harmony. We don't have a problem with white people, don't have a problem with anyone. We have a problem with supremacy tendencies. That is why also when we fight the ANC, why can't we be called a tribalist when we are opposing some of the ideas of the ANC? We cannot be a political party of haters. We have a political view that we need to deposit, and then it stands against the one that the ruling party is actually carrying out. Which is at the center of it all is corruption.
Yeah, and do you think EFF can curb corruption? Because it's rooted deeply. It's here. It starts here and it's going all the way up, and it has people feeling like irregardless of who's going to be on that chair, you know. And I think that's why people are not going to vote, because they're like, it's not going. There's nothing going to be different. There's still going to be this person that is on, you know, on that chair, and this person is just going to continue with their lives, because I mean they're all the same.
Yeah, but on a point of correction, people are going to vote. I can tell you now for free. People are going to vote. There's too much work that's been done on the ground to conscientize people of the change that needs to take place. So people are going to vote in that respect, on a point of correction. So what is going to be a predicament in society is when people themselves are not going to vote. My house cannot leak. My house cannot leak, and I complain about the leaking roof, and I'm not getting a silicone to patch that hole. What am I expecting?
I'm expecting nothing.
Precisely.
Exactly.
You know, and we can't do the same thing over and over again and expect different results.
That's madness.
It's a definition of insanity. So the society has the responsibility to bring about the change that they want to see. The ANC can formulate policies that can be beneficial to society, but it's the society that must make the practical change through votes, because we live in a democratic country. And in an event whereby the EFF is in power and understanding the amounts of corruption, there's no political party in this country right now that is exposing corruption like the EFF. I think on the basis of research and findings and everything else you can think of, the EFF always goes with sufficient evidence. But the fact that you have someone who's in power, who can engineer mechanisms, you know, to divert, you know, the outcomes of what actually needs to happen, and then we are left with the situation. That is why you will always be opposing until such time that the opposition time comes to an end and you are now in charge, which is going to happen. Because once the EFF is out, I can tell you now for free, the practical change is going to happen. You are going to see. If the CIC can hold the executive members of the organization accountable by saying, when you are failing to carry out this mandate, this cannot be expected, because you are setting precedents on the ground to say that no, but you gotta rebulela this and then read that. No. So that the person that comes after you can tighten their boots when they get into that particular those red overalls, and know that this is deployment, not employment, where you can run to CCMA when you have issues. Here you run to the streets as a protest movement.
And do you think there's ever gonna be a point where education is free?
I think education is free. It's just all these things that are implemented in the process. That is why there must be reverse of policies that are implemented that are not even forming part of the official policies. Like things like these things and earlier on, the SDF. These are engineered by SGBs, our school SGB bodies, to say no, like a student development fund for whatever reasons. The provincial government is responsible for those things. If the school is lacking of funds, they must find ways, proper ways, not to have a general blanket approach that everyone is subjected to pay 300 as a form of this donation. And then therefore, because now we are making this thing compulsory, which means in other words, it's school fees, because it is what it is.
Yeah.
Because it is what it is, you know. So Runa the EFF, like I said to you earlier, we're practical, we challenge that thing. And now people are getting their reports, as I'm talking to you now. They're getting the reports. And we said, we are not depriving people from donating. Somebody can come and say, million, this school is in a dire state. I want to just, you know, bless you guys because of I think you need this help.
Yeah.
By all means necessary. By all means necessary. But we are not going to have an imposed culture on our parents who are already suffering. The reason why they don't take their kids to private schools is because of the same issue. They are financially not able to. And you can't give them the 400 publicly in such arrangement, and then through back doors, through this SDF, because that's what's happening. You know, in public, you know, the ANC is giving us the grants and what now, they receive them. Back to, you know, through this student development fund. It can be correct. That is bogusness. That is corruption in its own form. So on a broader scheme of things, people have the ultimate power. I'll tell you that. We can elaborate on issues.
Yeah.
People have the ultimate power, and I'm glad now people are going to vote. Let's have this. Let's have another conversation after the elections.
We will.
Yeah. Let's have another conversation after the elections next year. You will be seated in a different position, and you'll be asking different questions because you are going to be wowed with what's going to happen.
True.
These things is already bargaining the coalition in Now we're not even bothered by it. We want to make sure that people understand that change it's inevitable. We need to make sure that people understand this particular state that we are in now. The rotational, what you call it? There's a load shedding in national. Now Mukasimu, about 13 and 21 and all those. You have this rotation thing.
Yes.
So now it's taken from national, it's cascaded down to the municipalities now. So there's a load shedding at the municipal level and the one at the national level. And then you want to come and tell us that you have leaders on the ground. Leader is a person who implements change. Is a person who implements change. Is a person who brings about solutions. And the solution that we are going to give, unfortunately, they're not going to be pleasing to everyone. They are not going to be pleasing to everyone. So some people will be offended by them because of now, like you say, that person, if we remove him or her and we put this one, do you think that person is going to just say, there's going to be, there's going to be an altercation there. But is a war we're willing to take on? Because we can't. Especially recognize the young people. We're not going to say, no, I leave now. Our parents fought, it's enough.
Yeah.
It's enough. Now it's a battle of ideology now. Is that who has better ideas that can be implemented, that can better benefit the society.
True.
It's as simple as that. Now you have people that are a bunch of non-thinkers. And non-thinkers, empty tanks. The only thing they know, instead of them reading that leadership, that's what they know. That's what they know, how to count those comrades. Tell them, okay, that no, this document specifies certain levels of they don't want to know anything about reading.
And I think that's where we come in as young people. I think that next year must be very revolutionary to a point where young people are given, chance to be part of the implementation, to be part of change, not only by just casting a vote, but also by being part of the action that is being done.
That is what I'm saying. People possess the power. And especially as the youth, let us be active, in these politics, because they directly affect us, whether we are liking it or not. Whether we like it or once you politics are there, once you start stopping a filling station, because of someone who's leading the charge at the top, there's a politician. The administrators are affiliated. It's a chain that's interdependent but not separate from each other. People will actually determine what needs to happen next. And we know, like I said, corruption plays a central role in these things. You are going to see, you are going to see the kind of chaos we're going to have heading towards the elections. It's already started now. Wabona. Ba fabricate ka dikipanyana mola ba fa ba dikipa ko morao ka kwale ba tlhala ba re the returning members of Ntontoni he bat ba modimo ka dikipa tse dimpi. How can you return with a new shirt if you've left a long time ago? That t-shirt must be old because you've been wearing it for a long time. Now the fact that ba file ona mona ba no uno tlhala lo yena mole e bile mongwa jambisa morinda ngare fa ba re bitsa phela you can say this thing is orchestrated, this thing is fabricated. But now a person with a thinking capacity sits at home and say mara kwenzakalani lana. That's how desperate the ruling party is at the moment. Because awusana buchabele even le bakhekulu, have you seen but babahulu abe but babahulu you can undermine them. They can think, they can analyze those comrades. Babona this thing is bogus. We've been sold here in Ngulube Sesageni because of barle bakar no the grantees are not. There's no one who's on it. So they are aware because of rona bana baba ona dula le bona ka modintlong re ma fighter ra ba botso ra ona mthaka ba itse re ba itse ba tla bona they can't. So they were held hostage by that idea or no, if you go and vote for these ones they're going to take that and it's not going to happen. So now gradually people are getting conscientized that wona lo mongwe gira clever mo. Why mapolisa ale? There are people who are more than 40 years in the police. Why were they not fired? How no Tomantung and Musu Mabur? What Democrats were ANC? Why were they not fired? The police are still there. Those who are fired, it's an official procedure of the law for whatever reasons. But not people that have been in the force for many years. Why are they not fired? More than 30 years. They are still there. So what makes you think, when the EFF gets into power, people are going to lose ground, people are going to lose there? No. That is why some gangsters paradise war, he wants Baizani, but no time politics because Kim La, Hola Tlili. But organize the EFF, I can still maintain this to you. Roy change something. And I be the more anymore, the NC is dead. The communists must just admit it's dead. Show me one thing when a sincere voter no. Tell me one thing that you know personally that the EFF leadership, the councillors have done. There's nothing. There is nothing. So we can't sit and pretend. Now I can boldly say, because of I was in the ANC, and now I've changed my political thinking because I've realized I want to go in this thing. This cadre deployment thing, if you look at the proximity of all these comrades from Plaza, this is our community shopping center. When the posts are being advertised there, you just see the person who was CLO, yes, Tratanyana Selesa Marabastad, CLO, center manage. When was the post advertised? If it was advertised, it was made to few individuals, so to access, to limit access for people to participate in the process. It cannot be a miraculous procedure that when a Jigijugu CLO, Jigijugu Center Manager, the same thing that happens with the councillor now, when he was CLO, when the center was built, now Jigijigi becomes council. You know, it's a but because people are not taking heed of what is happening, that is why they will always be subjected to this. And are now going to oppose it and are going to say it without fear. They can go to the nearest Lutulia house and lodge a complaint there. We don't have a problem.
And what advice would you give to young people of South Africa?
South Africa, let me start at home. Oliven, in particular way.
Okay, let's start with the youth of Oliven.
Yeah.
Yes, the youth that is encountering all these challenges and that is crying so much and yearning so much for change.
I think the young people must go and vote, my sister. The young people must go and vote, Valencia. That is the only political change that we are going to experience because, the policies are made. They require implementation. And in order for them to be implemented, there must be a political authorization by the people to say, we are entrusting you with this responsibility of power as the EFF. Carry it out. Let's see where we are going to have the same compensation when we were under the ANC now. And I can guarantee you now for a fact that there's going to be a massive change because of the leadership, I'm sure, of the EFF are all aware that in an event where EFF is given power and is not actually carrying out what the people are crying about, it's not going to take people long. That is why the leadership at the top, they are confident to say, give us this this strength to drive. And blame us based on what we're doing. Not based on, I bet the EFF has been blamed like what the ruling party. You say, yeah, but why the EFF is not building roads? Who authorizes the budget? We don't. That is why even in Parliament, when the NCOPs and them are discussed, say, but these views are deposited, carry them out. And then they oppose them. I bet they have more seats. Then they oppose them. And then, because they would say, yeah, our voting, they know automatically they've won. Now we are still left with the same issue. That hasn't changed. So young people must register to vote. That is the only way. And I'm saying this because of, unfortunately, I'm a politician, we're in politics, or speaking politics. And that's what needs to happen. In order for us to experience this economic freedom in our lifetime, young people must vote. Look at the people, look at what happened with Ntoya Yadin student SRCs. The EFF has embarrassed the ANC back and forth. Young people, we've taken over the institutions of higher learning like it's going out of fashion. And those numbers are turned into real EFF membership and votes. That is where we are going to see history taking place again in 2024.
Sure.
Yeah.
And who would you want to be remembered as?
I want to be remembered as a guy who said, when we say, that one would go in with a pang and say, but a go-getter. And I'm a go-getter of note. I'm a fearless individual, and I do my own little fact-finding before I can engage on issues. I don't just jump up because of there is a public excitement and all those things. I look back and I look at the situation. Is this thing really worth engaging in now? Or am I being used here? Because these people in politics, so ANC their own internal battles. So I'm always cautious of what is happening around me. But none over and above, I'm a go-getter. I make sure with and you can't find me at the back. That is why when I was top legally 10th anniversary, because of I got into this thing with an open mind, knowing what no, I'm not gonna be fearful. I'm not scared of the police. I'm not. Ashem, I'm not, because I'm not a criminal. I speak with the police the best way I know how, because I'm not a criminal. The only people that are scared of the police are the criminals, because of they will be arrested for whatever it is that they do.
Are they?
Yeah?
Are they scared of the police with everything that's happening more even crime?
No, I'm just saying generally, because of when a common criminal sees the police, they would run. But now I wouldn't even be afraid to tell the police the truth. When I'm on Twitter, you're corrupt. How can you do this? Why understand? Because I'll be speaking from a position of comfort. No, King, this one has a role to play in society. I have a role to play in society. Therefore, we must be frank with each other when it comes to a dialogue. But we are aware, like you're saying, we don't have a police station here. We were given with that Bilimu Barigimang Panyaza, who came to our police station. He came. He read a memorandum to his very own police station, because of the government level that must capacitate this Oliven police station is the province. So if the province is coming now to say, we have received these grievances from the public, you are not doing ABC and whatever, you are delivering, you are writing yourself a love letter. That's how much you don't love yourself. You even want to affirm through a letter that you're writing, and you invite all of us to come there and form part of witnessing to say, this, they deposit this thing on us. Instead of taking those monies and channeling them to capacitating the lacking infrastructure of the police, and to proper working stations, so that they can be able to administrate their files properly and to I was there with the station commander the other day. He showed me the actual plan of the in-mind police station that they want. Proper facilities that we are not if this thing could be implemented through the assistance of the community, we are going to have, we're not saying it's going to be 100% crime-free, but we know it's going to drop dismally. The reason why the criminals are even taking advantage is because there is nothing. Remember before there used to be that vertebra. They knew if Anton the right lamu. So tinetalas ganga mukrel community system to feletikan. Because he know when those ones get here, they are going to do their job. But right now, China, our comrades. China for that's how we're living. It becomes a norm. It's a problem. And we have leaders. But people don't want to. All I'm talking about, I'm blind loyalist. A blind loyalist is a person who supports nonsense, whether it's like a blind man leading another blind man and they're going towards a cliff. It's only when they are actually halfway to the ground as they fall off the cliff that, oh my God, what a horrible decision we've made by not guiding each other. Look at where we are now. Down spiral. That is what's happening in Oliven.
Sure. Yeah, Shem. And I think that was a lot to take from, especially us as young people. We've literally learned a lot. And we've just now realized that we need to properly educate ourselves before we come out and say we want to lay complaints, you know. Where can people find you on social media to learn more? Because now that they've learned on this platform, they want to continuously learn. They want to continuously be part of the movement. Where can people find you on social media?
Well, it's Alpha Hadebe on Facebook. It's the Alpha Male on my TikTok account. That's where I'm literally active in terms of, if you look at my content, it's nothing else than politics, because that's what we do on a daily basis. So I don't want to deviate. And then you can find me Alpha_Hadebe on Twitter. So that's where basically me putting out the information in as far as the organizational work is concerned. But young people must also attend local community meetings. Ask questions. That's when you get to realize, can I remember, these young people are educated, they're clever, eh? They're very clever. Let them, I say, attend. If there's a meeting, go to 24-hour park. The young people must go to the 24-hour park. Ask the councillors and the leadership that will be there the questions that they feel that are relevant. Things that they want to see change in their community. The young people must be there to ask those particular, or even better, let the young people start asking for public meetings and say, let's have a public dialogue with our leadership. We need to understand what is happening. That is when you are going to see whether you have a leader or we have a decoration there in a regalia of some sort, masquerading as a leader. Once we can have young people plugged in like that, our parents are going to realize, or no man, can I remember when my parents took me to school, they knew what they want to build the young man into a man. That whom, when he started depositing his views, now I started realizing I'm a man. When my father started asking me for an advice, hey, that's when I realized, yeah, more, I think I'm at that level. I was so excited, but the next time I go to university, my dad asking me, a problem child, for an advice. Oh, a prop.
Yeah.
So it means, even when I say to my dad, Timer, but in my view, and where we are, and what is practically happening now, this is the solution. This is and then he will be left with a decision, a thinking process to look at what this thing has done for him, and then looking at where I am and what I'm doing, and what disciplines he instilled in me in order for me to come to that point of saying, no, I think the EFF is the way. And may his soul rest in peace. He passed on an EFF member, my father. Yeah, because we're all about land. We have a very nice land. We're in the prep of Kalam. What is this thing? One day there will be a Messiah sent to say that no, we need to take back our things and now our own course.
Thank you so much for joining me, and thank you so much for the education. You know, this was very educative and fun as well. And I'm hoping that everyone that is watching right now has learned. Thank you so much to you two for tuning in, Batong. I'm hoping that you have learned, and I hope that whatever that you've learned here, it doesn't stop here.
Yep.
You go and you learn more and you research more, so that when you cast your vote next year, you know what you're doing and you understand what you're getting yourself into. Follow us on all our social media platforms, on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok, and subscribe, and tell your friends to subscribe as well, to like and to comment. Even if you say, well, this was educative, that's something. That's something. From myself, the Alpha Male, and the rest of the team, we are out.